Welcome, folks. Today, we're embarking on a fascinating journey through the magic and myth of the Sword and the Dragon, a 1956 Soviet fantasy adventure film directed by Aleksandr Ptushko. This film is a true masterpiece of Russian cinema, intertwining the richness of ancient folklore with stunning visuals and a classic hero's journey. It captures the essence of a time-long past where magic, mythical creatures, and brave heroes dominated the land. For fans of epic fantasy, The Sword and the Dragon remains a landmark piece in the genre, not just for its storytelling but also for its groundbreaking contributions to visual effects, particularly for its time. Set against the lush, enchanted landscape of medieval Russia, The Sword and the Dragon tells the story of a young hero who must confront a terrifying dragon to save his people from certain doom. This is a tale of bravery, honor, sacrifice, and the unyielding will of a lone warrior. While it may have been produced over 6 decades ago, its legacy has endured and continues to captivate modern audiences. Let's take a closer look at what makes this film a timeless classic, still celebrated as one of the finest examples of Soviet-era fantasy filmmaking. The film is rooted deeply in Russian folklore, with elements drawn from ancient myths and tales that have been passed down through generations. It tells the story of Ilya Muromets, a legendary hero who embarks on a perilous quest to defeat a mighty dragon that threatens to destroy the kingdom. The character of Ilya Muromets is drawn from the epic Byliny, a collection of Old East Slavic oral poetry, which centers on the exploits of folk heroes and warriors. Muromets is not just a hero in the traditional sense. He represents a heroic archetype that's been immortalized in the Russian collective imagination for centuries. What sets The Sword and the Dragon apart from other fantasy films is its authenticity in depicting the atmosphere of medieval Russia. Rather than relying heavily on fantasy tropes and Western-style narratives, Ptushko and his team rooted the film in the cultural and mythical framework of Russia. The lush, mist-covered forests, the snow-capped mountains, and the sprawling villages all feel deeply connected to the natural world, which is central to the Russian psyche. The beauty and brutality of the environment play as important a role in the film as any of its characters. It's a world where folklore is alive, where ancient gods and spirits lurk in the shadows of the towering trees, and where the line between myth and reality is thin and often blurred. The core of The Sword and the Dragon revolves around the classical hero's journey. Ilya Muromets is a young man who, in his quest to become a hero, must first overcome personal challenges before confronting external threats. Initially, Ilya is portrayed as a simple man, but his inner strength is revealed as the story unfolds. Much like the heroes of ancient Greek myths or Arthurian legend, he is called to a higher purpose and must face trials and adversaries that test his courage, intelligence, and morality. The primary antagonist of the story is the terrifying dragon, a mythical creature of immense power and destruction. Dragons, as symbols of chaos and evil, have long been a staple in folklore across the world, and The Sword and the Dragon embraces this tradition. However, what sets this dragon apart is the skillful way it was brought to life on screen. For 1956, the visual effects used to depict the dragon were groundbreaking. The creature is massive, its movements fluid and terrifying, and it exudes an air of menace that makes it one of the most memorable mythical creatures in cinematic history. What makes the dragon particularly menacing is not just its fearsome appearance, but also the symbolism it represents. In Russian folklore, dragons are often linked to forces of destruction and corruption. In this context, the dragon is not merely a beast. It represents the threat of moral and societal decay. Ilya's quest to slay the dragon is not only a physical battle, but also a spiritual one. In slaying the dragon, he purges the land of evil and restores balance to the natural world. This theme of good versus evil resonates deeply, especially in the context of post-war Soviet Russia, where the film was produced during a period of national rebuilding and moral reflection. One of the most captivating aspects of The Sword and the Dragon is its innovative special effects, which, for the 1950s, were revolutionary. In an era where Hollywood was just beginning to experiment with the early stages of special effects, Soviet filmmakers like Aleksandr Ptushko were already pushing the boundaries of what was possible with the resources available to them. The Dragon, in particular, is a triumph of practical effects. It was created using a combination of miniatures, stop-motion animation, and elaborate puppetry. The level of craftsmanship that went into creating the dragon and the seamless integration of it into the live-action footage is a testament to the ingenuity of the filmmakers. In addition to the dragon, other elements of the film also showcase Ptushko's mastery of special effects. The large-scale battle sequences, for example, were achieved through a combination of elaborate sets, carefully choreographed combat, and clever camera work. The film also utilized hand-painted backdrops, creating an ethereal, dreamlike quality that enhances the sense of myth and legend. These visual effects were so ahead of their time that they still hold up today, offering a glimpse into the creativity and dedication of the filmmakers behind the production. The Sword and the Dragon boasts a talented cast, led by the powerful performances of Boris Andreev, Shukar Burkanov, and Andrei Abrikosov. Boris Andreev, in particular, gives a memorable performance as Ilya Muromets. His portrayal of the hero is a remarkable balance of courage, determination, and vulnerability. Andreev's Ilya is not a perfect hero, but a man who struggles with self-doubt and the heavy burden of his mission. His performance humanizes the character, making him relatable even in the midst of fantastical circumstances. Shukar Burkanov, who plays the wise old sage, adds depth to the film with his measured, authoritative presence. His character acts as a mentor to Ilya, offering guidance in the moments when the hero faces doubt. The dynamic between the two characters is integral to the story, as it highlights the theme of mentorship and the passing of knowledge between generations. Andrei Abrikosov, who plays the villainous figure that aids the dragon, is chilling in his portrayal of a man willing to ally with dark forces for personal gain. His performance is a perfect counterpoint to Andreev's heroic Ilya, and their scenes together are charged with tension and drama. Beyond its artistic and cinematic achievements, The Sword and the Dragon is a piece of Russian cinematic history. The film was made at a time when Soviet cinema was undergoing a transformation, experimenting with new forms of storytelling while still adhering to the principles of socialist realism. Although the film is undeniably fantastical, it also carries with it the ideological undercurrents that were prevalent during the Soviet era. The hero's journey can be read as a metaphor for the rebuilding of the Soviet Union after World War II, a nation that was grappling with the scars of war but determined to emerge stronger and more unified. The Sword and the Dragon became a beloved classic in the Soviet Union, and its impact can still be felt in the Russian fantasy genre today. It inspired generations of filmmakers and audiences, and its influence is evident in subsequent Soviet and Russian fantasy films. The film's innovative use of special effects also paved the way for other fantasy and science fiction films in the region. Today, the film holds a special place in the hearts of many, especially those who appreciate the legacy of Soviet cinema. While the special effects and production values may seem quaint by modern standards, there is a timeless quality to the story and characters that transcends technological limitations. It is a film that speaks to universal themes of heroism, sacrifice, and the eternal struggle between good and evil. In conclusion, The Sword and the Dragon is a timeless epic that continues to inspire and entertain fans of all ages. Its combination of traditional Russian mythology, brilliant special effects, and strong performances make it a must-watch for any fan of fantasy cinema. Whether you're a cinephile with an interest in Soviet-era filmmaking or a fan of classic fantasy adventures, this film offers something for everyone. The themes of the hero's journey, the battle between good and evil, and the pursuit of honor and justice resonate as strongly today as they did when the film was first released. The dragon remains one of the most iconic mythical creatures in cinematic history, and Ilya Muromets remains a hero for the ages. The film's legacy is an integral part of the evolution of Russian cinema and fantasy films as a whole. So, don't miss out on this cinematic gem. It's a journey worth taking.